right, so let's look at the anatomy of the kidney. Good color here. Okay. All right, so the kidney looks kind of like that. It looks like a little bean, right? And the outside of the kidney is covered with a fibrous capsule. So the outside of it is the renal capsule or fibrous capsule, okay? On top of it, you should know, is the little hat, right? And that's the adrenal gland. It's also called the suprarenal gland. Okay. All right. It has an artery that comes out of it. All right. It's called the renal artery. Brings blood in from the aorta. And then we have a vein that brings blood out of the kidney back to the vena cava. And that's the renal vein. Okay. We have a tube that comes out of the kidney. That's called the ureter. We said before it connects the ureter or the kidney to the bladder, so it will carry urine down to the bladder. Okay. This area here where those things come out, so that area here, it's called the hilum. I've seen hilums before. There's the lungs have hilums where those vessels and things come out of the lung, and it works the same here. This is a hilum where the vessels go in, the ureter comes out there. All right, if we were to slice the kidney in half long ways, all right, if we were to slice the kidney in half long ways, it would, there inside the microanatomy of it, it would look a little bit like this. Right? So there's an outer part of it called the cortex. Again, we've seen this sort of setup before. The inner part is the medulla. So, that there. The medulla. The medulla is made up of little like pizza slices. Right to me. Okay. So there's like little pizza slices. Look kind of like that. Okay. These little pizza slices are called pyramids. So renal pyramids. And you know, these pyramids are full of tubes. We already know after, last semester we looked at the kidney because we wanted to see simple cuboidal epithelium, and we know that the simple cuboidal epithelium that we saw in there line the tubes that are in there. So the cortex and medulla are filled with tubes, little tubes. Okay. These little tubes are part of the functional unit of the kidney called the nephron. So they kind of are in here, and these little tubes kind of go around. All right. And there are a million of these little things called nephrons in the kidney. So we're going to look very specifically at nephron anatomy. But there are a million of those guys, and they kind of start in the cortex and they go down, dip down into the medulla there. All right, in between these pyramids, these little areas right here, these are called columns. So renal columns. And you're going to see vessels in there. Okay, interlobar vessels specifically. All right, at the bottom or the tip of these pyramids, so like right there and right there, those are called renal papillae. And these little renal papillae are like little nipples, and they drip out urine into little like cups. And the cups kind of surround where the little papillae are. And there's the one here. And there'll be one here and here. Okay. So these little cups where the little papillae dump into, these are called minor calyces or minor calyx. These minor calyces combined, you can see right here, these two are combined right here. These two combine right there, and where they combine together, that's called a major calyx. And the major calyces dump into the area right here, and that's called the renal pelvis. So the urine ultimately dumps into the renal pelvis, and that's where it enters into the ureter to go down to the the bladder. All right, so those are the main structures of the inside of the kidney. Okay, now we need to look at the nephron, because the nephron, is the functional and structural unit of the kidney. This is where filtration occurs. Filtration and then reabsorption and all of that. Okay, so this is the kidney's filtration units. And again, there's a million nephrons in every kidney. Okay, so now we need to look closer. We need to look at the anatomy of the nephron.